My sister raised her glass, smirked, and said loud enough for everyone to hear, "So, how's your $1 company doing?" The laughter around the table was instant, sharp, humiliating. But she didn't even know that I'd been quietly building something that would soon make her eat every word she just said. If you've ever been underestimated, if someone has ever mocked your dreams before they bloomed, this story is for you. Hit subscribe, drop a like, and let's dive into a tale where revenge wasn't loud. It was beautifully silent, strategic, and unforgettable. Growing up, my sister Laura was the golden child. Straight A's, debate team captain, Ivy League graduate. Our parents adored her. Me? I was the creative one, the dreamer, who never seemed to take life seriously. When I dropped out of college to start a tech consulting business, the entire family treated it like a joke. "You can't even keep a plant alive," my dad said, half laughing. Laura smirked and said, "Maybe he'll make an app for people who fail at everything." It stung, but I brushed it off. I didn't have much. An old laptop, a rented desk in a co-working space, and $1 in my company account to register the LLC. That's where her infamous line came from. A $1 company. The early years were brutal. I'd wake up at 4 a.m. answering client emails, surviving on instant noodles, and pitching ideas no one wanted to hear. Every rejection felt heavier because I knew my family didn't believe in me. But I believed in myself, and I refused to quit. Fast forward 3 years. My $1 company, BytePath Solutions, had quietly grown. I'd secured 3 major clients, expanded to a 5-person team, and started making 6 figures in annual revenue. But I kept it quiet. My family never asked, and I never told. Then came the party. It was Laura's engagement celebration, a massive event in a fancy downtown restaurant. Everyone was there, family, friends, even my old teachers. And Laura, she was in her element, basking in everyone's attention. When it was my turn to give a toast, I stood, glass in hand, ready to say something simple and polite. But Laura couldn't resist. "So," she said, cutting me off with that smirk, "how's your $1 company doing? Still pretending to be a CEO?" Laughter erupted. Even my parents chuckled awkwardly. My ears burned. My hand shook so badly the champagne nearly spilled. I forced a smile and just said, "It's doing fine, Laura, really fine." Then I sat down. But inside, something snapped. That night, I drove home in silence. Her voice echoed in my head. "Only worth $1, only worth $1. I realized something. Laura had always needed to feel superior. She fed off belittling others, especially me. But now, I had the power to change that. A few months later, my company landed its biggest contract yet, a multi-year deal with a Fortune 500 logistics firm. The project required hiring more developers, expanding our workspace, and scaling up. Revenue skyrocketed. By the next year, BytePath was valued at just over $7.4 million. I became a silent investor in 2 other startups. I bought a modest house, not a mansion, but comfortable, and I kept it all quiet. Meanwhile, Laura had quit her corporate job after marrying her fiancé, who turned out to be financially reckless. They'd started their own luxury event planning business, which was bleeding money fast. And here's where fate delivered the setup for my revenge. One morning, I got an email. It was from Laura. "Hey, I heard your business is doing okay now. Any chance you could help us with some funding? Or maybe consult on our website?" I nearly laughed out loud. I replied politely, "Sure, let's meet. I'd love to help." We met at a cafe. She looked tired, stressed, her confidence visibly cracked. She explained that her business was collapsing. They'd lost clients, bills were piling up, and her husband was threatening to pull out. "I just need some guidance," she said, sipping her coffee nervously. "Maybe a small investment." That's when I leaned back and asked, "How much are you looking for?" She hesitated. "Around 50,000. I nodded slowly. "All right, I could help, but I'd like to take a look at your company's financials first. If I invest, I'd want a controlling interest to restructure things properly." She blinked. "Controlling interest? You mean?" "Yes," I said. "I'd become the majority owner." Her jaw tightened. "You want to own my company?" I smiled. "Well, that's how investors usually operate. Remember, You said my company was only worth $1. You can't expect $1 to buy much. Her face turned pale. The silence between us was thick. Finally, she whispered, I'll think about it. A week later, she emailed back. They were desperate. She accepted. And just like that, I owned 60% of her company. I didn't gloat. I didn't humiliate her publicly. Instead, I rebuilt her business. Rebranded, restructured, automated everything. Within 6 months, profits tripled. But the irony? She worked for me now. Every Monday, she'd walk into the office I technically owned, nod politely, and avoid eye contact. And every time we had meetings, she'd hear my employees refer to me as Mr. CEO. I never once mentioned the party. I didn't need to. The silence was the revenge. One afternoon, after closing another deal, she came into my office. Her tone was softer than I'd ever heard before. I just wanted to say, I was wrong about you, she said quietly. I shouldn't have mocked you. You worked hard, and you deserve this. I smiled and said, It's okay, Laura. Sometimes people only see value when the price tag changes. She looked down, nodded, and left. That moment, seeing her humbled, not broken, was better than any dramatic revenge could have been. I didn't destroy her. I helped her grow. But she'd never forget who the $1 CEO really became. Revenge doesn't always have to be loud. Sometimes the quiet kind, the kind that comes through success and grace, cuts the deepest. If you've ever been underestimated, don't waste time proving people wrong. Just become so undeniable that they have no choice but to see it. What's the most satisfying revenge you've ever seen or experienced? Let me know in the comments. And if you enjoyed this story of poetic justice, hit that like button, subscribe for more. And remember, sometimes silence isn't weakness, it's power.